So I would like to talk about three things I learned from reading the book Becoming Citizens. The first thing that I want to talk about is a shared responsibility, the responsibility to include people with disabilities in the society. And the second thing I want to talk about is the mutual relationship or the mutual impact that the families and the society can have on each other. And the third thing I want to talk about is how I would like to apply what I learned from reading the book to my teaching career, my practice. So about the shared responsibility, the chapters talked about how the families reached out to the society and professionals in order to take initial steps in making changes in how the society viewed their kids with disabilities. So as I was reading the stories, I realized that the responsibility to make the changes and to include people with disabilities in the society is really not restricted to the families. It's not just their responsibility to do that. Actually, it's the people in the society. Um, it's it's also our responsibility to make those changes and support those families and include them in. Um, so in the book, it seemed like many professionals and general public, they're saying that it's none of their business to make the lives of the families and kids better and help them achieve their fullest. Um, but like the families were able to make real changes when the few people in the society realized that it's not only their responsibility, the family's responsibility, but also the society's responsibility to support them and include them in as fellow citizens who can meaningfully contribute to the society. The second thing I want to talk about is the mutual impact that society and the families can have on each other. The book discussed many examples of professionals who had negative impact on the families. The words they said, the attitude that they had, really discouraged the families. As a result of their like pessimistic and kind of ignorant beliefs that kids with disabilities could not learn, many families like lost direction in their life and had to find a way for their kids to learn on their own. So families also lost their trusts in professionals and the society because of their negative remarks and attitudes towards um, kids with disabilities, which in turn affected the society because without the mutual trust between the two, there can't be a meaningful contribution or meaningful positive interaction between the society and the families. So the book also discussed many examples of positive impact that society had on the families and the impact that families had on the society. So this led me to think that interaction between the society and the families is inevitable, and it could result in either negative or positive experience. And the third thing I want to share is how I would like to apply what I learned to my teaching career. So now I'm reminded about the shared responsibility and the mutual impact between the society and the families. I would like to be the front frontier in sharing the responsibility and in having the positive impact in the lives of the families. I'm glad that I can be a great resource to those families because of my educational background, because of my training, because of my knowledge in this field. Like I am able to be the frontier of doing this because I know my words and my attitude and my beliefs can have a great impact on the families the because the families interact with me directly. I have kind of not the power, but I have that responsibility to be the person who need to have that positive impact on their lives instead of negative. Um, so in order to do that, I want to be a sensitive communicator who's quick to listen and who take I want to take my job seriously by continuing to grow professionally and also personally so that I can maximize the positive impact I can have on the families. So these are the three things that I learned from and also realized and can be reminded um, by reading the book, Becoming Citizens. Thank you for listening.